Biden hosted Herzog in the Oval Office at the White House, telling him, "You know, my love for Israel is deep-rooted and long-lasting." But the warm greeting did not mask a split over Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's divisive push to reform the court system and expand Jewish settlements in occupied Palestinian territories. President Isaac Herzog, who has a mostly ceremonial role in Israel, was quick to address the judicial reforms controversy, which has sparked giant street protests by opponents who accuse Netanyahu of mounting a power grab. "It's a heated debate, but it is also a virtue and a tribute to the greatness of Israeli democracy," Herzog told Biden. "Let me reiterate, crystal clear, that Israeli democracy is sound, strong and resilient." A White House statement after the meeting said the two discussed the need for a consensus-based approach to the judicial reform package. Herzog's high-profile visit, which included a separate meeting Tuesday with Secretary of State Antony Blinken and was set Wednesday to feature an address to Congress, was a chance for official Washington to underline its backing for an especially close ally. In opening remarks, Biden flagged Washington's determination to prevent Iran from ever getting a nuclear weapon, and he noted regional diplomatic thaws that have seen Israel and Arab countries expanding ties. The White House said the two leaders also discussed Russia's growing military ties with Iran. But clouding Herzog's presence was the shadow of the leader with the real power in Israel, Netanyahu. Relations between Netanyahu and the Biden administration have been rocky ever since he made his political comeback at the head of a coalition of hard-right and ultra-Orthodox parties in December. A few lawmakers in Biden's Democratic Party have said they are considering boycotting Herzog's address to Congress in protest. Extremist label. On the eve of Herzog's visit, Biden eased tensions somewhat by speaking with Netanyahu and agreeing to meet with him later this year in the United States. It will be the first such meeting since Netanyahu returned to office late last year. But the Biden administration would not say whether the Israeli leader would get a coveted White House invitation or whether they'd talk elsewhere, potentially at the UN General Assembly session in New York. "We just haven't worked it out," White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Tuesday, denying any hesitation. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters Monday that the meeting will be closer to the end of this year, perhaps in the fall, which would around the time of the UN General Assembly session in New York. In Monday's phone call, Netanyahu told Biden that the judicial bill would be passed next week and that he intended to secure wide public support for the rest of the reform during the summer, his office said. But according to the U.S. readout of the call, Biden told Netanyahu of concern over the settlement's expansion and on the judicial reforms reiterated that shared democratic values have always been and must remain a hallmark of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Earlier this month, Biden told CNN in an interview that Netanyahu presides over one of the most extremist cabinets that I've seen. Kirby cautioned that the agreement by Biden to meet Netanyahu doesn't mean that we have less concerns over these judicial reforms or less concerns over some of the extremist activities and behaviors by some members of the Netanyahu cabinet.